For the first time in nearly 40 years, someone other than the general public, all of us who go to the polls, will get to elect Fort Wayne's next mayor. That responsibility now falls on a select group of right around 98 people. They are the Democratic Party's precinct chairs. Now, because we asked Fox 55's Avery Johnson to find out more about who is going to be choosing the city's next mayor. She's live now from Parkview Field, where they'll soon cast those ballots. Avery?
Yes, Brian, in just 2 days, Fort Wayne will have a new city leader. And while many people are wondering who it is, others are wondering who is electing that new mayor in the position. I sat down with 2 precinct chairs to talk about their responsibility for this caucus election. Nate Cardelli became a precinct chair in January to encourage people to vote, but he had no idea he'd be the one voting for the next mayor.
I didn't do it because I wanted to vote for the next mayor. I didn't even know that was on the horizon. Mayor Henry's illness had not been announced, and certainly his passing was not something that any of us thought was coming.
Cardelli represents the North Highlands neighborhood. With this newfound responsibility, he's knocked on over 200 of his neighbors' doors seeking their input.
My motivation to get voters involved and voters engaged, I have to talk to my precinct members to make sure that they're buying into my decision. And what they're telling me that they want in the next mayor is someone who's going to continue Mayor Henry's legacy, someone who's not going to be a major change agent, and they want someone who is going to be just a calm hand at the wheel, leading the city for the next 3.5 years.
Ann Escosa Griffin is also feeling the weight of her decision. She's been talking to her neighbors in the Spy Run neighborhood to make sure their voices are heard.
This is the lowest level of representative government. And so it's really important for me, as I represent my neighbors and my precinct people, it's important for me to know what their concerns are and to represent them.
Cardelli and Escosa are just 2 of the 98 people casting the ballot. According to FortWaynePolitics.com and confirmed through the Democratic Party, 55% of the chairs are women and 35% are non-white. Party Chair Derek Camp says these numbers are close to the demographics for the entire city.
It is roughly 2/3 white, which tracks pretty closely or might even be a little bit lower than what the population of Fort Wayne and Allen County is. In addition to that, it is majority women on our list. As
to why people choose to become a chairman in the first place, Camp says many have political backgrounds and others just want to be involved with local government.
A lot of these people are volunteers in the party. They've been party officers, they've been candidates, they're elected officials. Some of them are just neighbors. Like, these are the most basic building blocks.
Cardelli got involved in his precinct when he found out many registered voters were not casting a ballot during election time.
Well over less than half of the registered or eligible voting population wasn't voting in my precinct. So I became encouraged to drive that voter turnout. I think whether you're voting Democrat or Republican, you do need to turn out in elections. You do need to have a voice in what your city's doing or what your county's doing.
Escosa has a long history in politics, dating back to 1978, when she was a precinct committeeman in Naperville, Illinois. Now she continues that service after returning to her roots in Fort Wayne.
And I need their input. I think it's important to represent your constituents carefully. I think, it's very important to listen to what is on people's hearts and minds. And so I've spent the last 4 or 5 days walking my precinct, talking to people.
Escosa says it's not just about picking someone to carry out this term, but also someone who can lead the city into the 2027 election as well, always looking toward the future.
We have to replace a mayor, and at the same time, we have to be very cognizant that in 3.5 years, that person hopefully has done a good job, and we can get behind her or him to continue on.
If you want to find out who your local precinct chair is for this upcoming caucus election, contact the Allen County Democratic Party for more information on that. There are expected to be 7 candidates on Saturday's ballot. Fox 55 will be there bringing you coverage both on air and online. Live at Parkview Field, I'm Avery Johnson, Fox 55 News.